And we're joined now by John Kirby, the spokesperson for the White House National Security Council. Mr. Kirby, good morning to you. The president is going to an active war zone. He's done it before. This is unlike Ukraine, though, because it is a planned trip. It's not unannounced like Ukraine was. How concerned are you about the security situation there? Just yesterday, Secretary Blinken had to hide in shelters with the prime minister.
There's no question it's a dynamic area and in many ways a combat zone. The president's well aware of that. Obviously, we'll take all the appropriate security precautions to make sure that he can conduct this trip safely and effectively. We're working on that hard, even as we prepare for departure later on this evening. But obviously, we know it's a serious situation for a lot of people over there.
You've made clear that the U.S., and I'll use your words, is not dictating military terms to Israel, telling it, for example, not to invade Gaza while the president is there. So is it possible that Israel invades Gaza while the president is there?
That's really a better question for the Israeli Defense Forces. We're not dictating terms to them in terms of how they conduct their operations. We want to get a sense from them. That's one of the reasons why the president wants to go, is to speak directly with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other Israeli government officials about their plans, about their strategy, about how things are going on the ground. So he's looking forward very much to getting more of a fingertip feel of how things are going.
Overnight, Hamas released its first video of a hostage being held there, a young woman. Hamas has suggested that perhaps foreign nationals could be released when circumstances allow. What is your assessment of that intent?
Well, first of all, they should release them all now. There should be no reason for them to have any hostages in the first place. And number two, we're obviously working very, very hard with our partners in the region to secure the release of all the hostages. We know there's a small number of Americans, but all of them need to come home and be with their families. And we're working on that very, very hard. I can't predict what Hamas means when they say conditions permit, and I think we need to take any statement by Hamas with a huge grain of salt. What we're focused on is securing their release, and we'd like to have that happen, today, immediately, if possible. But we'll see where things go.
The young woman in the hostage video, I mean, she looked okay. She seemed to be put together. Said she was being treated okay. Do you believe that?
There's no question in my mind that woman gave that video testimony under duress, probably forced to do it. It's a propaganda video much more than it is proof of life or certainly proof of concept for Hamas. It's despicable, deplorable that they would take these hostages and then advertise how well they're treating them when they are the ones who hurt them in the first place. So it's reprehensible. Again, all these hostages need to be back with their families right now.
Hamas is despicable. There is a lot of concern about innocent Palestinians who are literally caught in the crossfire, and now an unfolding humanitarian crisis with no electricity, water supplies running low, if they're there at all, in the south. The U.S. and Israel spent 9 hours in a meeting yesterday trying to hash out this humanitarian corridor. Is there a plan to help the innocent of Gaza, or is there just a plan to make a plan?
No, we think after all that terrific work done by Secretary Blinken with the War Cabinet in Tel Aviv, that we certainly have a path forward here to be able to get humanitarian assistance in and to try to help get American citizens and safe passage for others out of Gaza. Now, look, I don't want to sound Pollyannish here. There's a lot of work to be done. We know that all of us are going to have to turn our shoulders to the wheel here to get this complete. But there was terrific progress made yesterday in moving in that direction.
Egypt has so far not opened the Rafah gate. Aid trucks are standing by. They're stopped outside the gate.
Yeah.
Is that part of the president's task there? Is he going to put the pressure on to Egypt, to other countries to say, open up these gates and get some relief to the people here?
And a short answer to your question is yes. That's obviously going to be high on the president's agenda when he goes to Israel and then later to Amman, Jordan tomorrow, to make the case that humanitarian assistance not only needs to start, but it needs to be able to be sustainable. It needs to continue.
And let's talk about Iran. Overnight, the foreign minister there had some pretty bellicose rhetoric saying that preemptive action by Iran and its proxies is possible, and a wider war was reaching the inevitable stage. Do you see any actions that match those words, or is this purely bombastic rhetoric?
We're watching this very, very closely. We have seen no specific indication that another actor or another state is preparing to widen and deepen and escalate this conflict. And the president's message remains loud and clear. For anybody who's thinking about doing that, don't.
All right, John Kirby at the White House for us. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.